Ladies and gentlemen, Cowboys Nation, brace yourselves. We're coming to you with breaking news that's sending shockwaves through the NFL, shaking the very foundation of Dallas, Texas, and leaving fans across the globe in a state of disbelief. This isn't just a roster change. This isn't just another day in the NFL offseason. This is a seismic, earth-shattering moment for the Dallas Cowboys and everyone who bleeds blue and silver. The unthinkable has happened. The unimaginable has become reality. DeMarcus Lawrence, the heartbeat, the soul, the unrelenting force of the Cowboys' defense for over a decade, is no longer with the team. Yes, you heard that right. After 11 incredible seasons, filled with passion, leadership, and an unyielding commitment to the star on his helmet, the era of Tank Lawrence in Dallas has come to an abrupt and heartbreaking end. Let's take a moment to let that sink in, because this news is heavy. This isn't just losing a player. This isn't just a transaction on a depth chart. This is a monumental shift in the identity of the Dallas Cowboys. DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't just a defensive end. He wasn't just a pass rusher who racked up over 60 career sacks or disrupted countless plays in the trenches. He was the embodiment of what it meant to be a Cowboy. He was grit personified. He was toughness incarnate. He was loyalty in a league where loyalty is often fleeting. For 11 years, Lawrence poured his heart into this franchise, giving everything he had on the field, in the locker room, and in the community. And now, in the blink of an eye, he's gone. No warning. No farewell tour. No gradual goodbye. Just a sudden, gut-punching announcement that has left fans, players, and analysts scrambling to make sense of it all. The moment the news broke, the internet exploded. Twitter timelines froze as fans flooded the platform with reactions, some filled with anger, others with sorrow, and many with sheer disbelief. Instagram comments sections turned into virtual memorials, with fans posting highlights of Lawrence's greatest plays, from bone-crushing sacks to game-altering run stops. Facebook fan groups, typically buzzing with debates about play calling or draft picks, became a space for collective mourning. "This can't be real," one fan wrote. "Tank is the Cowboys," another posted. And they're not wrong. DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't just a player on the roster. He was the longest-tenured Cowboy left after Zach Martin's departure, the last remaining pillar of a core that once carried the weight of championship dreams. To see him go feels like losing a piece of the team's soul. For those who might be new to Cowboys Nation or need a refresher on why this hurts so much, let's talk about who DeMarcus Lawrence was to this team. Drafted in the second round in 2014, Lawrence didn't just step onto the field, he stormed it. From his early days as a rotational player to becoming a cornerstone of the defense, he carved out a legacy that went far beyond numbers. Sure, the stats tell part of the story: over 60 sacks, hundreds of pressures, and countless plays where he blew up the opposing team's game plan. But stats don't capture the intangibles. They don't show the fire in his eyes when he lined up across from an offensive tackle. They don't reflect the way he commanded respect in the huddle, barking out adjustments and rallying his teammates. They don't measure the countless times he set the edge against the run, forcing running backs to bounce outside where his teammates could clean up the play. Lawrence was a leader in every sense of the word. On the field, he was a disruptor, a player who could collapse a pocket, shut down a run game, or draw double teams to free up younger stars like Micah Parsons or Oza Odidizua. Off the field, he was a mentor, a brother, and a cornerstone of the locker room culture. When you watched Cowboys games, you didn't just see Lawrence making plays, you saw him coaching in real time. He'd point out formations, call out tendencies, and make sure the defense was aligned. He wasn't just playing the game, he was orchestrating it. And that leadership wasn't confined to game days. In practice, in film sessions, in the weight room, Lawrence set the standard. He was the guy who showed up early, stayed late, and pushed everyone around him to be better. That's why his departure isn't just a strategic loss. It's an emotional one. It's personal. It's raw. Reports are still trickling in about how this news hit the team. One story that's making the rounds is about CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys star wide receiver, who reportedly found out about Lawrence's departure during a live stream. The cameras caught him visibly shaken, his usual charisma replaced by a stunned silence. That moment spoke volumes. It wasn't just about losing a teammate. It was about losing a brother, a leader, a man who had been a constant in a franchise often defined by change. For players like Lamb, Parsons, and others who leaned on Lawrence's veteran presence, this is a blow that will linger. The locker room is a sacred space in the NFL place, where bonds are forged through shared struggles and triumphs. Lawrence wasn't just a part of that space, he helped build it. And now, the Cowboys have to figure out how to move forward without one of their most vital pieces. Let's address the business side of this, because as much as it hurts, the NFL is a business, and decisions like this are never made lightly. Contracts, salary caps, and the ever-looming reality of age curves play a role in every roster movie. Lawrence, at 33 years old, wasn't the same player he was in his Pro Bowl years of 2017 and 2018 when he was racking up double-digit sacks and terrorizing quarterbacks. In recent seasons, his sack numbers dipped, and that's the stat skeptics will point to when they try to justify this move. But anyone who knows football, really knows it, understands that Lawrence's impact went far beyond the box score. The film doesn't lie. He was still setting edges, anchoring the run defense, and doing the dirty work that doesn't show up in fantasy football stats or Pro Bowl votes. He was the guy who made everyone around him better, creating opportunities for players like Parsons to shine. His presence gave the defense its identity, its swagger, its voice. And now that voice is silent. So, what does this mean for the Cowboys moving forward? That's the question on everyone's mind, from the front office to the fans in the stands. This isn't just about replacing a player on the depth chart. This is about redefining the identity of a defense that has been a cornerstone of the team's success in recent years. The Cowboys have talent, there's no denying that. Micah Parsons is a generational superstar, a player who can change games single-handedly. Trayvon Diggs has the potential to be a lockdown corner in the secondary. Players like Osa Odigizua and Darren Bland are emerging as key contributors. But they're young. They're still finding their way. And without Lawrence's veteran presence, the leadership vacuum is real. In a league where chemistry and intangibles can make or break a season, that's a problem. A big one. Let's talk about the fans for a moment, because Cowboys Nation is feeling this loss on a deeply personal level. DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't just a player to them, he was one of them. He embodied the spirit of Dallas, a city that prides itself on hard work, resilience, and loyalty. He didn't just play for the Cowboys, he belonged to them. Off the field, Lawrence was a pillar of the community, giving back through charity work, mentoring youth, and supporting causes bigger than football. He was a role model in every sense of the word, a player who carried the star with pride and represented the team with class. That's why this goodbye hurts so much. It's not just about losing a player, it's about losing someone who meant something, someone who carried the weight of a franchise and a city on his shoulders. But let's not sugarcoat this. The road ahead is uncertain, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The Cowboys have been chasing a Super Bowl for nearly 3 decades, and every move they make is scrutinized under that lens. Losing Lawrence isn't just a personnel decision, it's a signal that the front office is willing to take bold risks to shake things up. Whether those risks pay off remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, the pressure is on. The pressure is on Jerry Jones and the front office to prove this was the right move. The pressure is on Mike McCarthy and the coaching staff to rally the team and keep them focused. And the pressure is on the players, from veterans like Dak Prescott to young stars like Micah Parsons, to step up and fill the void left by Lawrence's departure. Let's dive deeper into what made DeMarcus Lawrence so special, because to understand the magnitude of this loss, you have to understand the man behind the jersey. Lawrence came to the Cowboys as a second-round pick out of Boise State, a raw but talented prospect with a relentless motor. Early in his career, he showed flashes of brilliance, but it wasn't until 2017 that he truly broke out, earning his first Pro Bowl nod with 14.5 sacks. That season, he was a force of nature, collapsing pockets and wreaking havoc on opposing offenses. But what set Lawrence apart wasn't just his ability to get to the quarterback, it was his versatility. He could play the run, set the edge, drop into coverage, and do all the little things that make a defense elite. He wasn't chasing stats, he was chasing wins. Over the years, Lawrence evolved from a breakout star to a steady veteran presence. Even as his sack numbers fluctuated, his impact never wavered. He became the anchor of the defensive line, the player who set the tone for everyone else. When the Cowboys' defense struggled, Lawrence was the one who kept them together. When they succeeded, he was the one leading the charge. His leadership wasn't loud or flashy, it was quiet, steady, and undeniable. He led by example, showing up every day with the same intensity, the same focus, the same commitment to excellence. That's what made him the heart of the defense. And let's not forget his impact on the younger players. Micah Parsons, one of the brightest stars in the NFL, has often credited Lawrence for helping him navigate the league. Parsons' explosive athleticism and playmaking ability made him a star, but it was Lawrence who helped him understand the nuances of the game, how to read offenses, how to stay disciplined, how to lead. Osa Odigizua, another rising star on the defensive line, has spoken about Lawrence's mentorship, about how he took him under his wing and showed him what it meant to be a professional. That kind of influence can't be replaced with a free agent signing or a draft pick. It's built over years through trust and respect earned in the trenches. The timing of this move is what makes it so jarring. The Cowboys are coming off another season of playoff disappointment, and the fan base is already restless. For years, they've watched this team hover on the edge of greatness, only to fall short when it matters most. The narrative around the Cowboys has been one of almost good enough to win a Super Bowl, almost good enough to get over the hump. Losing Lawrence feels like a step backward, a signal that the team is hitting the reset button rather than building on what they have. And for a fan base that's been waiting for a breakthrough, that's a tough pill to swallow. Dak Prescott, too, faces a new challenge. As the longest-tenured player on the roster, he's now the elder statesman, the one who has to hold the team together. Prescott has always been a leader, but this is different. He's not just leading the offense anymore, he's leading the entire team. He's the one who has to keep the locker room focused, keep the younger players motivated, and keep the faith alive in a fan base that's hurting. That's a heavy burden, but Prescott has shown time and time again that he's up to the task. His leadership will be tested like never before, but if anyone can rise to the occasion, it's him. The coaching staff, led by Mike McCarthy, also has a massive challenge ahead. McCarthy has been under scrutiny for years, with fans and analysts questioning whether he's the right man to lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl. This move puts even more pressure on him to deliver. He has to find a way to integrate new players, redefine the defensive identity, and keep the team competitive in a loaded NFC. Defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, known for his aggressive schemes and no-nonsense approach, will also have his work cut out for him. Without Lawrence's veteran presence, Zimmer will need to rely on younger players to execute his vision. It's a tall order, but Zimmer's track record suggests he's up to the challenge. So, Cowboys Nation, let's take a moment to honor DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's celebrate the 11 years he gave us, the countless plays he made, the lives he touched, and the legacy he leaves behind. Let's thank him for the passion, the leadership, the heart. And let's look forward, not with fear, but with determination. The Dallas Cowboys are still here. The star still shines. And the story is far from over. Stay strong, Cowboys Nation. The next chapter is coming, and it's up to us to make it one worth telling.